Welcome back. You know the deal. Another week, another batch of Reddit stories. Today we're going to try something new again. We're going to read TIFU, which stands for Today I F***ed Up. Let's do it. Today I f***ed up by jumping into a lake in my bra and underwear to save a man who turned out to be an elite military scuba diver. I run by the lake most mornings. The lake is gorgeous and famous for scuba diving because there's a flooded town at the bottom. This morning, mid-run and in my own head, I saw a dark shape float to the surface about 40 feet away. I was on the rocky side of the lake and this dude looked dead. D-E-A-D. No one else was around, so I assumed he was some unhinged solo diver about to die. Instead of yelling to check if he was alive, I panicked. I kicked off my shoes and stripped to my bra and underwear to save him. In my head, it was a cinematic dive. In reality, I smashed my face on sharp rocks and side-flopped into the water like an idiot. I was wearing contacts, so I swam towards him with my eyes closed. When I opened them, he was staring straight at me like I'd lost my mind. I yelled, "Are you okay?" He calmly removed his regulator and said yes. Before I could panic further, I tried to swim away and yelled, "I thought you needed saving." Then another guy surfaced about 30 feet away and cleared his throat. Oh my god, I'd be like, "Kill me now, please." I screamed so loudly it probably echoed off the mountains. They both started laughing and more heads popped up. I was surrounded by scuba divers, all clearly having the time of their lives, laughing at me. The original guy swam over and awkwardly escorted me back to the shore. The shore was way farther than I thought, and I was trying to not visibly gasp for air while also laughing at how stupid all this was. I joked, "You're lucky you weren't actually dying. I don't think I could have dragged you this far." Turns out that they were military cadets doing overnight open water training. I absolutely ruined the drill that they were doing. I strutted out of the lake like I wasn't mortified, invited them all out for a beer that night, then jogged back into the woods for my clothes. Yes, girl, slay. I appreciate that in her heart of hearts, she was doing the right thing. She saw somebody drowning and she was trying to save their lives. It's very heroic. We do have an update. Hey, the update is that he showed up for the drink. Let's go. Someone said, "So are you guys engaged now?" This is a Lifetime movie waiting to be made. I actually went to a military college, and while I was in the military college, they had a cannon, and the cannon would go off every morning. One girl heard the cannon go off during her first day on campus, and she hit the deck and screamed for her life. Luckily, I was warned by her so that I knew the cannon was coming. We need more people like her, willing to jump right in for a stranger. Today I f***ed up by realizing my mute button wasn't muted. This happened 2 hours ago, and I'm still hiding under my blanket. I was in a massive all-hands call meeting for a project launch. Usually, I keep my mic muted on my headset, but today I was eating lunch, so I was double muted. Or so I thought. For those of you who don't know, double mute just means that you can mute it on your physical headset, also within the meeting. About 45 minutes in, the project manager was explaining a delay in the timeline. I, thinking I was safe in my cocoon of silence, let out a very loud, very deep sigh and muttered, "Oh my god, just get to the point, nobody cares." Do you know how many times that I have wanted to say that? I have worked in corporate. I have just been like, this could have been an email. We did not have to waste time on a call. He's just saying what everybody's thinking. The audio didn't just pick it up. Because of the way Teams/Zoom prioritizes active speakers, my face popped up on the main screen for a split second. The silence was deafening. The PM paused for a solid 5 seconds. Nobody said anything. He just continued. I slowly reached up and tapped my headset. It beeped. Mute on. It had been off the whole time. I've not checked my Slack messages. I'm considering faking my own death and moving to a farm. I'm sorry, my cat makes noises sometimes that sound like frustrated complaints. I was on one with about 300 people I work with, and someone said out loud, unmuted, "Hang on, I gotta get on this pointless Zoom call." There was one time that I was at my job and there was this guy that was speaking. He wasn't even trying to be muted. He just didn't care, but he was on the call while his wife was in labor. You could hear the monitor in the background. Had someone with an unmuted mic on a very high severity incident call. His girlfriend started shouting at him in the background. "What are you doing? Stop manipulating me." She could have also been yelling at a pet because they do be very manipulative sometimes. As an owner of a cat, I can confirm Unfortunate life lesson. It's better to assume everyone can hear you at all times in a big meeting.
Today I f***ed up by forgetting elevators aren't private. For the last 2 years, I've gone into the office 3 days a week. Every day starts with an elevator ride up to the 14th floor and ends one back down to the first. In between, I'm in that elevator constantly. Almost every single time I'm alone. And when I'm alone, I treat that elevator like it's my personal safe space. Music's playing, I'm dancing. Lil Wayne throwing money gestures. Benson Boone, full air guitar. I'm very normal outside the elevator. Extremely corporate. I talk about action items, meeting agendas, and product life cycles. You would never expect this behavior from me. Dancing alone on the elevator? Scandalous. Today I stepped into the elevator alone like usual. I looked at myself in the mirror and started posing like I was in a bodybuilding competition. Doors open. I finished with finger guns at my reflection and immediately snapped back into professional corporate man. Fast forward to later, I leave work early. As I'm walking toward the exit, the security clerk spots me from across the room and yells, "Big man on campus!" My soul left my body. I said, "Pardon me?" He goes, "Oh, sorry, I was talking to my colleague. Have a good night." Then he gives me finger guns. They can fire me. I don't care at this point. I'm never working in the office again until that man retires. Nope. I forgot that elevators have cameras and spent 2 years embarrassing myself while security watched the show. I can't believe it took you 2 years to realize that there were cameras in there. The first thing that I do when I get into an elevator is look around to see if I can find a camera. If I don't see one, I just assume that it's there. But I do feel for you because when I work from home, I do a lot of weird stuff when I'm alone. But when I'm in the office, I have to act normal and be quiet. Just the other day, I was in the parking lot and I was singing my heart out and the person beside me opened their door and I could hear them just opening the door, so they could definitely hear me screaming. All the comments are so positive and just saying that if they were the security guard that their day would be made, and I agree with them. Don't dim your sparkle. It always makes me smile to see people smile, and if people are having a good time, it makes me happy.
Today I f***ed up by making a girl I like laugh so hard that she ended up in the hospital and I almost lost my job. There's a girl that I like at work. We're close friends, and one day we were at lunch making ironic jokes. I decided to go for a laugh and said, "You know what's just one letter away from sad? Dab." Then I immediately dabbed. I also have the unfortunate ability to cry on command, so I locked eyes with her and let 2 tears fall. Very cinematic of you. She lost it. Full on collapsed to the floor laughing. Okay, yeah, she's gotta actually like you a lot. After about 30 seconds, she started clutching her chest and coughing. I asked if she was okay, and she started wheezing and kind of convulsing. I panicked and thought she was having a seizure, so I reached for my phone to call 911. At that exact moment, my manager walked in and saw a large man standing over a small woman on the floor. Before she could lose her mind, I blurted out that she was having a seizure and I was calling an ambulance. Thankfully, I was able to explain everything once the paramedics arrived. Turns out, she has asthma. My joke triggered a flare-up, and she'd been waving her arms trying to tell me to get her inhaler. You guys are really meant to be. I remember whenever I was dating around before I got engaged to my wonderful fiance, hi, in every one of my bios, I always put sense of humor. Has to make me laugh. So I think that this is a match made in heaven. She would have died doing what I love, which is laughing. I don't know if she loves to laugh. Maybe not. She almost died. Send her a get well card that says, "Sorry I took your breath away." That's actually so cute since he's got a crush on her. It was also sweet that he obviously sprung in to help her right away to show that he cares about her. Today I f***ed up by paying $70 for a $29 haircut. I went and got a $29 haircut. I went to pay with my card, stuck it in, then remembered that I had cash. So I clicked decline on the card reader and paid with cash instead. I hand her the $40 and she looked shocked. I said, "I don't need change." She said, "Oh my gosh, are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She asked me again, "Oh my gosh, are you serious?" I was like, "Of course." And she's like, "Thank you so much. This is literally going to buy me and my kids dinner." And I was like, geez, she must get bad tips. I started to walk away and she goes, "Oh, actually your card transaction timed out. You need to reinsert it. It didn't go through." At which point I realized that she had no idea I had meant to pay for all of it with cash and thought I was giving her a $40 cash tip for a $29 haircut. And that's the story of when I paid $70 for a $29 haircut. Aw, that's sweet. Good person to go ahead and go through with the transaction anyways. You know that they needed it. One time my family and I went to dinner at a really fancy restaurant, and on the bill they had already included a server fee, gratuity, and everything, but we didn't read it at all, so we wanted to tip the waiter very well. We tipped over 20% on additional gratuity. Needless to say, it was a very expensive bill, and I hope that the waitress had herself a nice dinner that night.
Thank you guys so much for sticking around and reading those stories with me. I'll catch you again next week. Bye.